Hey, Walter Sorrells back with more tips for the knife maker. If you're looking to learn about knife making, or if you're a vet or first responder with PTSD, I've got something for you. Now, how could these two things go together? Hang in there and we'll find out. This past weekend, I went to a great knife making get-together. Great event, great cause. I want to tell you about it today for a couple of reasons. First, a little background. The event, the Reforged Makers Festival, was sponsored by Reforged, a small nonprofit in San Antonio, Texas, which uses knife making as a tool to help veterans and first responders with PTSD in their recovery. They're run by Chad Kaler, a retired Army medic who served several tours with tip-of-the-spear type units in the Middle East.
My name is Chad Kaler, and I work with the nonprofit Reforged, and it's a veteran peer support group where we teach a free knife-making class to vets and first responders suffering from post-traumatic stress. And our class is less focused on the knife. The knife is just a means to an end to get them to understand that we can have post-traumatic growth. And we offer free counseling to those who need counseling, and then we take them on hunting trips and fishing trips, anything to get them off the couch. And rather than do a suit and tie fundraiser, we decided we want to do something to celebrate people that work with their hands, to show the people that we work with that, you know, even if you can't hold down a 9-to-5, you can still do something and be productive.
MakerFest raised a fair amount of money for Reforged, pretty much all of which goes straight into knife making gear. Chad doesn't take a salary. In fact, funds for the work mostly come out of his back pocket. The main feature of the weekend was a kind of knife maker fantasy camp which paired novice knife makers with experienced makers, including a handful of forged in fire champions. Everybody started with a big old raw chunk of steel and then forged whatever kind of knife they felt like making out of it. So we had to go through the whole process: forging, grinding, heat treating, making the handle, the whole schmear. By doing it this way, everybody got a chance to see the whole process from beginning to end. And unlike watching it on Forged in Fire or a YouTube video, there are no edits, no cuts, nothing missing in the middle. So if you have a question about how to make something or how you do something, you've got a guy standing right there that you can ask any questions you might have. Some guys had never hit a piece of hot metal in their lives, and some, like Lee, who worked with me, had experience as smiths but wanted to pick up some knowledge about bladesmithing. In either case, these guys got to spend a whole day one-on-one with Forged in Fire champions and various other really experienced smiths. Participants in the event included James Helm and Tobin Nieto, both Forged in Fire champs, Alex Ruiz, Erich Orris, John Thunert, Ray Kirk, Daniel Casey, Matt Coda, JoJo Salyers, and a whole bunch of people.
James Helm, knife maker, blacksmith. Tend to do kind of bigger stuff. It's a good cause. I never served myself, but a lot of my customers are military, so it's a good way to kind of help out some folks that have been through hard times.
I should also point out especially that Kyle Gahagan and Billy Salyers were there, both of whom run excellent veteran-oriented knife-making organizations. In theory, everybody was making a knife for a contest, though really the point was just to hang out and make knives.
So my name is Matt Coda. I own River King Forge, and I'm one of the Reforged instructors for the last 2 years. The main part of the program is using knife making as a form of art therapy. So we're trying to find purpose in an old material similar to ourselves and reusing it, reshaping it, and reforging it into something newer and better.
After the knives were made, they were auctioned off with the proceeds going to help buy gear for Reforged.
Yes, 325. Outstanding!
Lots of makers, many of them alumni of Reforged classes, were there displaying and selling their wares. Plus, pro wrestling. Yep, they set up a ring at the end of day one, and I got to watch a dude get a dollar bill stapled to his forehead. So, yeah. Quick interruption here. So if you're enjoying this video or the hundreds of knife making how-tos, gear builds, or other knife related videos I've done here over the past decade or so, I hope you'll consider supporting the channel on Patreon. But more importantly, consider helping out any of the worthy veteran related groups I've mentioned today. I know all the guys running these operations on a personal basis, and I can tell you that anything you send their way will go straight to gear and supplies for men and women who've sacrificed a lot for this country. Unlike some of the big charities you've heard about on TV, these aren't guys with a bunch of overhead and staff and office buildings. They're just dudes with belt grinders trying to change lives one veteran at a time. Anyway, first point, if you get a chance to make it to the Makers Festival next year, you won't be sorry. And just by being there, you'll be supporting a hell of a worthy cause. If you're a vet thinking about getting into knife making, take a peek on the interwebs at Reforged, as well as Kyle Gahagan's Resilience Forge organization or Billy Salyers' Redeemed Steel Network, both of which are located in North Carolina. I'm sure there are similar organizations in other locations around the country. Links for all three in the description below. Okay, so I teased a little at the beginning that I've got something here for anybody who's interested in learning to make knives. Here's what I got for you. I've always found that hammer-ins, Makers Fest, conferences, seminars are some of the best ways to learn about knife making. Every time I get out to an event like this, I learn something new. I talk to guys about steels that they use that I don't have any experience with. I talked to several longtime wood suppliers who gave me some tips about wood stabilizing. Just, all kinds of cool things. Every event's different. Some are kind of big hangouts where others are more formal with lots of presentations and displays. Most feature some guys selling gear off the backs of their pickup trucks too, so if you're looking to find gear and don't have a big budget, you'll often find used equipment, antiques, all kinds of cool stuff at good prices. Some events have campsites, so you don't have to worry about spending money on a hotel. Look, these days there are a million online forums, YouTube videos, Instagram posts, whatever, but there is no substitute for in-person experience. If you're a novice smith, or maybe just thinking about taking up the hobby, you can learn a ton at these kind of events. Even if you don't pony up the money for a one-on-one session like we had here at Makers Festival, all these get-togethers invariably have a bunch of knowledgeable smiths attending. And they're usually just hanging out, happy to talk to anybody who swings by.
Hello, I'm Logan with Bracken Blades Forge.
If you come out to something like this, don't be shy, just introduce yourself and soak up whatever you can. All right, thanks to Chad and the other guys at Reforged who are doing really fine, selfless work for an important cause. I had a great weekend, and if all goes well, I'll head back to San Antonio next October when they do Makers Festival again. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and make sure that you click on that bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. Want to buy a knife from me? Check out my modern blades at tacticsarmory.com. Digging the channel? You can support our video making efforts on Patreon. I've been banging away on these videos for like 10 years, so I hope you'll show some love for all that hard work. Link in the cards and descriptions. Finally, if you're interested in making Japanese swords, check out my full line of Japanese sword videos where I show how to forge Japanese swords as well as how to polish them and how to make fittings, handles, and scabbards. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.